Of course, another, I think, really good example of targeted communication was the database project I showed you from last year, from this class, where the students were trying to get people to sign a petition about plastic in the oceans. And they divided people into conservatives and liberals, Democrats and Republicans, pro-environment, not so much pro-environment. And they had a very completely different approach, just strategically communications-wise, in terms of what they stressed about the issue to appeal to each group. And this really is what was done in Brexit, okay, and on Civil War, and done by Cambridge Analytica, albeit those, quote, bad guys, unquote, got the information without permission. And in the case of my students, they did not. This was all given openly and forthrightly by the individuals, the people in the database. That's one big difference. So anyway, targeted communication. So we're wrapping up here, everyone. You'll be delighted to hear. We talked today about why we segment, how it seems to be counterintuitive. We typically, as human beings, want to sort of get together and put things together and have that togetherness be somehow more than what we could do individually. That's called synergy. But we've got a different kind of, if it's not synergy, at least we have a value creation aspect to, in some cases, taking a whole thing and dividing it into parts. That is certainly the case with our beef cow, with our beet, with our old beat-up Volvo 1800, which we divide up into parts and sell each part for almost as much as the whole car would cost, the beat-up car. And it definitely is the case with working with our database. Why? Because we want to communicate with our customers. No, we cannot do one-to-one communications. That is impractical, really. But instead, we do something in between mass blast and one-to-one. We segment. We saw from EMA data that segmenting and emailing makes it much more productive in terms of conversions. And, of course, I think we know that intuitively also. And there are lots of ways. Once we do our basic segmentation within our database, we can pull in outside information, external data, find out more and more and more about our customers. The more we know about them, the deeper and better written our target section is in our Tabasco. We are actually using some empathy. I don't know how much I've talked about that with you guys, but it's kind of a favorite word of mine this year. We are understanding these people as much as we can. We're getting in their shoes. We're imagining we're them. We're getting in their skin almost. And we are developing the way we speak, the things we talk about based on what we think is going to appeal to them using our empathy. Now, also in terms of other decisions we have to make about, for instance, media choices, since we don't have unlimited money, obviously particularly for prospecting, where we're going to try to find prospects to match our most valuable customer, right? We can't follow up every single characteristic that we've identified, psychographic and demographic, for our MVCs. We have to do a multivariate analysis where we jiggle all those demographics and psychographics and we see which traits have the most impact on being an MVC. And based on that, and that's a multivariate analysis, and based on that, we can get some guidance as to where best to invest our funds to fish where the fish are. So you're in the midst of this now, I know, with your project, You're going to need to do Tabascos for these segments, and then develop your targeted communication. And we are now at the end of our class about segmentation. Little heart there. I remember the database is the heart of the marketing program. Yeah, that's right. And I hope you thought it was a groovy presentation. And by the way, just a last thing on the word groovy. Jimi Hendrix did use the word groovy in a song that he covered. It was not a song he wrote, but he did a wonderful cover of it, which I might just, and I probably will, include in this lecture. Maybe a few of you will actually take 2 or 3 minutes to listen to it. Jimi Hendrix, I hope you've heard of him. Best electric guitar player who ever lived. I think most people would agree with that. Kind of a step beyond just about anybody else who's ever touched the instrument. And the song he covered was called Wild Thing. It was originally recorded by a group called the Troggs, T-R-O-G-S, which stands for troglodytes, which is a word that means people that like to live in caves and not come out. Okay. And the song is called Wild Thing, if I didn't say that already. And the line is something like, Wild Thing. I think I love you, Wild Thing. But I want to know for sure, Wild Thing. You're really groovy. Anyway, enough on the word groovy. And please remember everything we talked about and get on track with everything, everybody. And talk soon.